13th practice today, so we're getting to the tail end. It was good to see the effort by the guys. A lot of back and forth between the offense and the defense. Probably a little bit more forth by the defense. Offensively, I think they got after us a little bit today, but that's the nature of spring ball. You want a back and forth affair where both guys or both sides of the ball are doing things. I know we got a lot of special teams work done today, so getting closer to putting the finishing touches on things. We'll have a non-padded practice come Thursday and have that spring game on Saturday, so open up to any questions.
When you looked at the film from the scrimmage on Saturday, I know that was a big evaluation day. What, at least from your side of the ball, did anything stand out? Or is there separation at running back or wide receiver or tight end or anywhere else? What did you kind of gather from the film after that scrimmage?
Well, running back, first of all, I think the positive thing was all three guys, 10-plus carries. All three guys had some production. I think we had 6 13-plus runs, and that was spread out amongst those three guys. Another positive offensively, we had 100 plays and didn't turn the ball over, and that's credit to the backs. It's quarterbacks protecting the ball. So two scrimmages, 170 plays, 2 turnovers, no interceptions. So it's quarterback's coach. I think that's a positive. So I think we're continuing to see the positions, tight end, receiver, running back, like we've talked about all spring. Groups of guys coming along and still anticipating, those guys to improve greatly between now and the time we have to play in September.
I know the O-line position has been a little thin this spring, but overall, just how do you like the way that group has come along?
Well, yeah, it's thin. It's still young. It's hopefully we get to next fall not as young as we've been. You look at the growth on a daily basis for a guy like Jace Webb. He's had some ups and downs, but that's the nature of your first spring. It's a lot easier to take those lumps in the spring as opposed to as a true freshman in the fall. So he's coming. And it was good to get Gavin Rush back out there. He's 2 weeks of illness, and even though he's probably not himself, liked the fact that he was out there. Guys like Caden Jackson, Zach Wallace are seasoned vets, and that's starting to show a little bit more. And so we're coming. It'll be great to eventually get Ryan back out there and Brinkley back, and now we're talking about having 7-8 guys that we can hopefully put on the field.
I guess from your take from the offensive side, I know you're going against each other, you're not scheming against each other, but what have been your thoughts of the defense this spring, of some of the things they're trying to do or within the system? Just what have been your thoughts of it, I guess?
Well, you know what? I think it's maybe a transition back to the roots of the system a little bit more, while Coach Hazelton bringing in some nuances that he's learned over his 5 years away from us, I guess. And I think getting the guys to play fast is the ultimate goal, and you see that that's happening more and more as spring ball goes along. I know the idea of keeping the big plays to a minimum. They certainly did that the first scrimmage. We were able to pop a few more this last scrimmage, but you see the progress certainly, and the bottom line there is playing fast. And I know getting pressure on the quarterback is something that's been pretty significant the last couple of weeks as they've added more things too.
What are you seeing on the back end of that defense? Going against some of those younger guys in the secondary.
Well, you know what? The corner position I think is continuing to evolve. A guy that didn't play much last year in my mind that's really stood out is Tyler Hall. He's looked good. He's been very consistent. An old vet like Rob Priester that's kind of been in and out. You see him becoming more and more consistent. In the safety position, playing without Andrew has sprung opportunity for guys like Elijah and Josh Boyd. And I thought in particular Elijah did some good things, especially coming up and tackling football on Saturday.
I know you talked about your new role having, part of that being getting out more of the state more. Did you have anything kind of special that you specifically did with going up to Casper in terms of, just kind of getting out and seeing the state?
Not yet, no. Pretty much going up there and calling plays, but I know we've talked about some opportunities over the course of the summer, and so once spring ball is done, we'll be out spring recruiting, and I'll be in my area and that type of thing. But once that time is done, we'll get a chance to maybe do some more things.
What do you hope to do in the Thursday practice? You said it's not going to be padded, and then Do you know you have teams, or will it be offense versus defense? How will you do the spring game, or have you gotten to that point?
Well, first of all, for Thursday, non-padded, but you're not installing anything at this point. You're able to come back and it's a heavy review day, but it's a heavy work day at the same time. Good football teams can practice without pads, and hopefully the way we look non-padded practice 14 compared to those first 2 days will be better. And as far as the spring game goes, we anticipate being able to go into teams like we have. Line being that thin position, but right now we have enough guys to split up into 2 teams. And I think our philosophy, coach's philosophy on that has been that give the guys a game experience. You can give the fans a game experience. I think a game with the scoreboard is a lot easier for fans to take in than a scrimmage and scoring points in a weird way. So roll the ball out and get as many plays as we can in a 4-quarter game and see how those guys respond. Coaches are on the sideline. It's a competitive environment. There's scores being kept, times being kept. So that's even a different opportunity than the scrimmages we've had at this point.